every child image portrayed in any image is a victim of that. Illegal possession of child pornography. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was done, is that May 18th, last week, month? A pre-sentence report has been prepared. Have the parties had an opportunity to review it? Are there any corrections or changes to it?
None from the defense, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
It's been made a part of the record for all purposes. Okay, how did you want to proceed on this?
Judge, I have two witnesses, one being the defendant himself and one being the defendant's mother. I don't know if you want to question here at the bench or have a seat at counsel table.
We can do it here.
Okay.
Where's his mother? Okay. Why don't you exit like we do on witnesses under the rule of sequestration? Because I don't know what she's going to say or he's going to say, but we don't want to have a risk of, okay, I heard what he said, I'll just say what he says.
Yes, sir.
All right, raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Lower your hand. Go ahead.
Mr. Anstey, the Hawkins date on this was April 4th of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
November 4th.
November 4th.
I'm sorry. November 4th of 2023. Prior to that, you had been on probation in Hardin County. Is that correct?
Or,
I was
It's in your PSI.
I know.
I'm sorry.
it was possession of controlled substance.
We're gonna let him do this speaking. You'll listen.
It was possession of controlled substance in a burglary.
What was the controlled substance?
It was ecstasy.
Mhm. Where were you acquiring that from?
Just this, it was a dude I went to high school with.
Keep going.
All right. You were required to go to ISF.
Hold on. What about this 5 years probation for burglary of habitation? That was at the same time.
Yeah, they both gotten combined, I guess, because of COVID. That's when both of them,
That's when those were disposed, they were disposed on the same date, January 23.
yes, sir. That's
And
when
then you were revoked, sentenced to 3 years imprisonment on June 5th of 2024.
Yes, sir.
Why were you revoked?
Because I couldn't, I kept.
Of this case?
Sir,
Because of this case?
No,
sir.
Oh, because that would,
I
could have worked, but under the timing of it all. But what were the reasons you were revoked?
I was revoked because I kept failing my UAs for alcohol. Yes, sir. And then I had went to ISF. I had come home, and then no sooner or later I came home. I failed another UA for alcohol. Then got my probation revoked. Went to TDC, and that was I don't know, that made me realize my freedom and how much my decision making was back then was, I mean, it just was, it's very poor. And
you were you abusing alcohol severely?
yes, I was.
And was that disinhibiting? You weren't considering consequences of your actions at the time?
No, I was not.
How old are you right now?
23.
Go ahead.
You were then sentenced, as you indicated, to 3 years TDC. Tell it for what you learned from that experience.
So I've just learned that all of my consequences always have actions. It doesn't matter what I'm doing right then and there. I always have to worry about in the future, and not only who am I affecting, me myself, just the other people around me. I've learned that's just me as a person. I'm trying to work on it, and that going to TDC and coming home, and now
How long were you in prison?
I was just a little bit over a year and a half. So
Since then, you've been on parole, is that correct?
yes, sir.
Have you experienced any problems with parole?
No, sir.
Just before you went to TDC is when you were arrested on this case. Is that correct?
I wasn't arrested on it. It was that's when the phone was discovered with my old job. And as I was awaiting to go to ISF, that's when I guess it went to.
This case was indicted in March of 2024, to the best of your recollection. Is that correct?
I thought it was the date of 23.
Well, okay, so the offense date was in November of 23, right?
Yeah.
When the phone was picked up and you were waiting to go to, you said that was ISF at the time, right? The phone was discovered when you went to ISF.
Yes, sir.
And then you came back, you messed up, you went back to prison, correct?
Yes,
Did you post a bond in this case?
I did. Yes, sir.
And so that only gave you a 2 days credit, is that correct?
Yes.
And so while you were on bond is when you served TDC time on your Hardin County offenses, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, with regard to the nature of this offense, do you understand the severity?
Yes, sir, I did.
Can you tell the court in your own words, in terms of victimization, what you realize now that didn't seem to strike you back then?
Back then, I guess I just had my not necessarily. I mean, it was fantasies. I guess at the time it was kind of twisted. I didn't realize the way I see things now is. I mean, I don't want to bring it up here, but I will. I have a 4-year-old sister now. I look at her as as she's my own daughter. I mean, I could never imagine anything bad ever happening to her. And if it did, I mean, it would really affect me. And I just know that this right here is, I know it's a speed bump. It's something that, I've done. I don't know how else.
In this,
I hate all of it. I want to just, I apologize.
in this case, you understand that the court has a number of options, correct?
Yes, sir.
You understand that whether you are sentenced to TDC and later paroled or you're offered probation here, you're going to have to comply with sex offender terms, including registration.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand why the court would have concerns about you being around your sister unsupervised?
Of course, but she would never be unsupervised. My mom and her father, my stepdad's always there at the house, or she's at daycare during the day. So,
And do you understand that one of the things that the court could do is send you to home confinement for a portion of probation, or do you understand that the court could place you outside of your home until your counselor and completion of chaperone training by your mom and your stepfather was completed in order that all proper precautions were taken?
yes, sir.
You talked about, having a sister now and imagining something bad happened to her. In terms of, is that the way that you have personalized the victimization that the kids in these other images?
I think anybody, if they had a picture of my sister that was any sort of way that's wrong looking, I think that is the most. I realize that now. That is the most wrong thing. It's sick. It's just messed up.
Oh, wait. Well, what caused you to have a feeling of that now? You didn't have a problem victimizing all these children in these pictures then. I mean, they're children, like your sister.
Mhm.
Well, why couldn't you see a comparison? Why didn't you have empathy for them then?
No, I wish I had an answer for that.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I see her now, and it's been an eye opener these last almost 5 years.
The use of alcohol in your life, did it numb
Yes, yes, it did.
Was the alcohol voluntarily taken?
Yes.
Or did somebody force you to
No,
drink?
no, sir. No, it was
Okay.
voluntary.
All right.
Would you agree that you have had a problem with substance abuse?
Yes, sir, I have.
Would you agree that much like addiction, these issues, if not treated properly, can rise again?
I don't think they could, yes, but I don't.
You don't foresee that happening?
No, not in this situation.
You understand that sex offender conditions could include prohibitions from being online, limitation on the kinds of phones you can have. And you understand that there can be polygraphs taken during probation sessions, and that you would have to attend sex offender counseling.
Yes, sir.
If you would not have made bond in this case, you would currently have some time. You said you spent about a year in TDC, is that correct?
Yes, sir, about a year and a half.
Before you paroled out?
Just one second, Ms. Fuller. Can you tell the jury we're going to need just a little more time? Thank them for their patience. 10 or 15. Thank you. Go.
And so, if you had not bonded out in this case, you would have about a year and a half back time at present.
Yes, sir, I have.
But because you were on bond, no time accrued toward this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No idea. I just walked in. But
Yeah, find out what they need.
okay.
Because I got a jury out there.
You also have the guy in jail we need to deal with.
In terms, you've talked about putting who you were in your past behind you. You've talked about putting who you were in your past behind you. Tell the court about your efforts to essentially to rehabilitate yourself and what your life has been like over the last 10 months.
I've been employed this entire time, so I'm trying to work as much as possible. Just completed my first semester at Lamar State College in Port Arthur for audio engineering. So I am trying to work on my education and just try to stay focused and, not get involved with drinking or smoking or anything that I was involved with in the past. I really am. I have been since I've been home, trying to give my life a second chance.
And with regard to that, trying to give your life a second chance, as you suggest, you've had no problems while you've been on parole. That's correct. All right. And so we're looking at. Do you understand that the court could also sentence you to up to 7 years in conjunction with our agreement? So are you asking for to, in part because of the time that you've already served that hasn't counted toward this case and based on your efforts that you've described, to give you an opportunity to complete sex offender counseling and be placed on community supervision?
Is he doing any sex offender counseling now?
At present, not that I'm aware of. Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
And would you comply with all terms that the court would order for you?
Of course, yes, sir.
And is that reflected, do you believe, in how you've handled parole since you've been out this time, since you were discharged, since you were paroled out?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir.
Was seeing prison enough to set you straight, so to speak?
Yes, yes, it has.
I'll pass this for you.
Oh, I've got a few things.
Go ahead.
So since you're under oath, let's start with what steps have you taken since you got released to address these issues that you're asking the court to deal with? In other words, what have you done on your own?
Just going to school and working. I mean, I haven't done any sex offender classes or anything like that.
So you haven't addressed that issue yourself, right?
No, sir.
No, but you're asking and you're relying upon the fact that you're going to go ahead and do that if this court grants you probation.
Yes, sir.
Yet you've been out of custody for how long?
Just a little bit over a year.
Over a year. Over a year, you have not addressed the problem on your own.
Yes, sir.
All right. Number two, I want you to recognize that the judge did you a great favor in asking your mother to be absent from the courtroom. It's going to allow me to ask you some questions about the information that's on your phone. I'm prefacing that before we get started. You and I both know what's on there.
Yes, sir.
The court has read some to some degree, but it's not given the detail of what actual pictures you were taking of your mom. Your mom is here to testify as a character witness for you. Is she aware of the information that you have on your phone?
Not about her, but everything.
No, I want to know specifically about her. Does she know what kind of pictures you were taking of her?
She knew that I had pictures of her, not to that extent. No, sir.
Are you prepared for her to hear that? Because if she testifies, I'm going to be telling her about that.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to give you a chance to tell the judge what's in this deal that not only one of the witnesses provided in discovery, but an officer detailed in his report about the images you have of your mother. Go ahead and tell him.
I had pictures of my mother just around the house.
Be specific, sir.
I had stolen her underwear at times. I did acts with her underwear. Yeah.
He's a big person. He knows he knows the words. Tell him.
I ejaculate on her underwear and sneaking behind her, taking just pictures of her. It was like a sexual thing. Yeah.
And when was this?
This is all.
What period of time are we talking about?
So this would have been during high school and just a little bit right after.
This is, you're charged with this offense on or about November 4th of 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
When in relation to that date were you doing this? We're talking about with your mom, as using your mom as a fantasy tool.
Up until about a year before that whole time until I got everything came out.
And all those things were at least occurred during the time in which you were on probation.
Yes, ma'am.
For two crimes.
For two crimes. You had over 100 images of you with videos of you masturbating, ejaculating on your mother's underwear, specific videos of you masturbating in the back seat while she's driving.
Yes.
All in a work phone underneath a folder labeled mom so that you could have easy access to know what that was to continue your sick fantasies.
You have to speak out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you've never addressed that, yet you are relying upon this court to the suggestion that he could give you probation and send you to live with her and your sister that you're describing as someone that you really love and care for.
Yes, sir.
Do you not love and care for your mother?
I do.
Do you not see the problem here?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, why would you victimize her if you love her? That's kind of hard to put together, isn't it? You don't victimize somebody, you care for them.
Sir.
Oh.
Last thing, Mr. Hensley, when you were talking with the judge, you described all of this as a quote unquote speed bump. I'm going to give you one more opportunity to change that answer.
Yes, sir. I was a sick and twisted individual growing up. I had a lot of bad, inappropriate pictures that I had found on Google. It was definitely not a speed bump. Just
Bad choices,
horrible choices. Yes, sir.
but choices
that
nonetheless.
that I made.
Choices you made, you've continued to, up until today, to try to minimize it, describing it as a speed bump. You tried to minimize that contact when you talked to this PSI officer just a few weeks ago. And you think we should trust you to send you back to fantasize some more about your mother and whatever God knows happening to this poor 4-year-old sister of yours?
No, sir. I would like for to have some supervision or classes that I can take because
Yet you've done none of that on your own.
no, sir, I have not.
I have no further questions of this witness.
Anything else?
Mr. Hensley, how old were you in November of 2023?
I would have been 21.
And you said that this continued up until about a year prior. Is that correct?
Prior and yeah, until right before that.
I believe in your PSI, you stated that you started collecting images as early as middle school. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
And in conjunction with, well, first of all, aside from some counselors who work with probation departments, have you? Well, strike that question.
What's next?
Are you asking the court to intensely supervise you for the best interest of the community to ensure in part that these types of acts are no longer being committed?
Yes, sir.
While you believe that these issues would never arise again, would you agree that for the safety of the community, it would be best for that to be verified in some way through sex offender counseling?
Yes, sir.
That's what.
I don't have any other questions of him.
All right. Anybody else?
Yes, I'll call Carrie Marchand,
Who is that?
his mother.
Okay. Have a seat right over there, sir. You like front row, first chair. Thank you. And raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes.
Lower your hands. Go ahead.
Spell your name.
Spell your name.
Spell my name.
Yes, ma'am.
My first name is Carrie, Carrie. Last name Madushan, Madushan.
Okay.
You are the mother of Braden Hensley, correct?
Yes.
I want to get one thing that's probably pretty uncomfortable out of the way now. Did you have an opportunity to speak with detectives after the materials were discovered on your son's phone?
Yes, one of them called me.
And what did that detective disclose to you with regard to images on the phone that may have involved you? Or were you made aware of images on your son's phone that may have involved you?
He told me that there were images of young women.
Did he
That were on, he said that were on there, images of young girls.
Did he ask you if you wanted to press charges at any point? Or were you asked about that at any point?
He said there was a video of me on there, in a pair of shorts, and asked if I wanted to press charges for that, and I said,
Okay. So you're not fully aware of the context of the images that were on the phone?
I never saw them, and he didn't disclose anything because he said that was evidence, and he didn't tell me that. All I know is he said that one was about a year prior, and then the rest of them were from earlier than that.
All right. You understand what your son's charged for, correct? And you understand that whether it is conditions of probation or conditions of parole at some point, that the court has concerns about him being around his 4-year-old sister. And if the court were to order,
Actually, I'm concerned about any child.
I
Go ahead.
intend to address that, Your Honor. But and so if the court were to order that your son be placed outside of the home, at least until such time as you and your husband could undergo chaperone training, would you be able to support your son in that context?
Support. What do you mean by support?
In other words, would you be able to contribute to him having a residence outside of the home if that were necessary?
Helping him pay rent and things like that? Is that
Yes.
what you're asking?
Yes.
That, I don't know. I'd have to sit down and we'd have to figure our finances. My husband and I are we're wanting to buy a house come December, January, so that will put out that. It's not a thought that I've had.
Okay, let me ask you, do you understand why, with images of young children, there would be concerns about him being around any children?
I wasn't aware there were images of young children. I thought they were girls that were about his same age at that time.
What do you mean by about his same age at that time?
Around, because this was 3 years ago when, almost 3 when I was talking.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Adults,
Braden,
other adults, young adults.
yes. And Braden's, he was 21. He had just turned 21. And he said that one image was from the year prior, over about a year, almost January of the previous year, is what he said.
When you
And
say,
then that puts Braden at being 19, 20. So I'm thinking about, I know of one image I saw on Braden's phone accidentally because we had the same type phone. And I accidentally took his phone to work one day and he had mine. And his girlfriend at the time, who was a year older than him, he was 16, she was 17. She was an aspiring photographer and she liked to send him pictures. And I saw one. And
so was it your belief that all the pictures were of that age?
yes, yes. Her and her friends
So,
sent me pictures. And I spoke with her mother and stepdad. Spoke to try to end this, but
so, you're not aware that there were images that are described as being with children anywhere from 5 to 10 years of age?
no, don't know anything about that.
With regard to such an offense, are you still asking this court to be lenient with your son and give him some sort of community supervision?
Yes, because I don't feel when Braden is with my daughter, her name's Amaya, Amaya. They're like brother and sister. They play, they do their fist bumps, and Braden's always been an artsy kind of person, like paints and sketching and drawing, and they'll sit at the table and color Pokemon, and he'll take her out and ride bikes, and it's just typical. And they banter back and forth, and he'll pick on her and she picks back, and I don't feel any kind of weird vibe going on there at all from him. And if she's ever in the bathtub, and I pull the door closed, he never, nothing. So I don't have any discomfort there at all.
I can appreciate that. I'm just going to say right now, there are some things you don't know.
I understand that. I understand
We know,
that.
and they're most disturbing.
But I was asked how I felt.
I
And
understand,
that's how I feel.
you seem like a very nice, wonderful person.
Oh,
This court just doesn't tolerate the victimization of innocent people. And who does, really,
Right.
reasonable. And this is going to get more disturbing as you stand there, I'm afraid.
can you tell the court, what growth you've seen in Braden since he has been discharged to parole?
He is a different person than he was in his late teens and early 20s. He has a job that he's been working for now for a little more than a year at Nebraska's. He started out as a dishwasher, he's promoted now up to fry cook, got pay increases. He works nearly a 40-hour work week every week. This year, I have another son who's 2 years younger than he is. Started school this spring, and Braden expressed an interest in studying some music classes. So with that, I encouraged him, and he signed up with Lamar State College in Port Arthur. And he took 2 classes, and one was an online class. Braden's not the best with reading, and so he kind of stumbled with that, but he still tried. And he had the other class, which was an American music class that he'd go to Tuesdays and Thursdays. He was there every day.
When you say he's a different person, though, what do you mean by that in terms of changes that you've seen from before prison to after prison?
Before he had to go into prison, he was a little reckless with himself. He got involved with marijuana and drinking, and just a little stupid, crazy. It's the best way that I can explain it.
Just once he was put on probation the first time, and continued, I guess, down this alcohol path. How did you address that? How did you provide support?
Well, in 2021, when Amaya was born, she was born in August. That Christmas, Braden was drinking and got a little carried away with his drinking and alcohol. And it was pretty much the boiling point at that time, and I made him leave the house. Basically, my husband and I, we kicked him out of the house because it was a behavior that I didn't want to be around, he didn't want to be around, and I didn't want it around my newborn.
Your other children?
Well, and my other son had moved out and was living with his girlfriend, so it was just 4 of us. But it was primarily, I don't need this influence, this behavior. You're over 18, you're grown, you need to be, take care of yourself. I can't do this for you anymore.
So is it the case that you don't put up with intolerable behavior?
Yes. I mean, I can excuse some, I can make it excuses, I can rationalize it. But when you constantly just keep doing the same behavior over and over again, I couldn't deal with it anymore. He was yelling, he was screaming. We had people there. It was Christmas.
And would you say that type of behavior was pretty much the norm for him prior to going to prison?
It was like, it wasn't his norm all the time, his whole life. It was just where it had come to a head at that time. But yes, it got to the point where I made him leave the house, and he was basically homeless for almost a year.
And so, do you know what chaperone classes are?
No.
All right. And so do you understand that if that whether Braden's put on probation or he receives a sentence and then is later paroled out, that there will be conditions on where he can and can't live and who he can and can't be around in terms of age?
Well, I understand.
All right. And are you willing to complete whatever programs are necessary to ensure that you are properly supervising your daughter around someone who will be a registered sex offender?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, Yes, of course.
And in terms of well, Braden right after he was arrested on this charge, he is when he went to prison. Is that correct?
Right. Probation violation.
And that probation violation was at the continued use of alcohol, even after ISO.
Yes.
Is he using alcohol these days?
I do know that he has, but it's rare. It really is. But that he works and he's late. He gets off late in the evenings, and I'm not always awake when he gets home from work. But as far as I know, I mean, it's rare. That's all I can say. I know that he has.
Does Braden show an interest in wanting to be a better person than he used to be?
Oh, yes.
Or
He wants-
that his behaviors, let me say that his behaviors tended to
Well,
demonstrate?
when I was speaking about him going to class, he really enjoyed taking those music courses. He's bought his brother's car because he was wanting a car, so he bought his brother's car. His brother was trying to save money for a trip he was wanting to take, so it was twofold. Brother got money, Braden got a car. But the car's a 2010 Kia Soul, and it needs a little work on it. So he's been learning basic mechanics to fix up his car. And he has expressed to me that he actually really enjoys doing that.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy for. Anything that says, hey, I like doing this, I like working on that, I aim to encourage all that. I mean, that's just me as a person and me as mom too. I want to see him happy. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him moving forward with his life, finally growing up and becoming the adult that he should be.
Do you think that's happening now?
I believe he's finally on that path. I really do believe he's on that.
Do you think it would be in his interest as well as the interest of others to be supervised and continue a pathway of counseling, sobriety, and growth?
I don't see where that would hurt.
Are you asking the support to, in part, because he's already served some time that's not attributable to this case, and because of his support system and the changes that you've noticed in him, to be lenient with him and grant him some sort of community supervision?
Yes.
Passed away.
Let me just ask you, what about drugs? Are you aware of him misusing drugs?
I know he has a vape, but as far as anything else, I don't. I'm unaware.
You don't know?
I don't. I'm unaware. I haven't noticed the behavior that I noticed several years ago, where he would be slurring speech, constantly consuming any kind of sweet goody, little Debbie was his best friend kind of thing. I haven't seen any of
Okay.
that. He's gained weight. He works. I mean, whenever they call him, even if his day off, he'll go to work. And I know if I need any help around the house, he's there. He's there to help.
Okay. Go ahead, Stan.
Thank you, Judge. How long has Mr. Hensley been back?
Since he's been released.
From
Yes,
prison?
It was, I want to say it was March of last year
And that time frame, he's living where?
with me and my husband and our daughter. And
And
now my son's moved back in.
so have you had any structured supervision restrictions placed upon him?
I just like to know where he is.
Has he had unsupervised access with your daughter?
Unsupervised, like babysitting.
Has he been alone with your daughter?
No, because my other son, I've left her home, like if daycare was closed and my husband and I had to work, it's both sons were usually there at the same time. So I don't remember that he's ever been there by
Are you
himself.
certain?
Not 100%.
Are you concerned?
I'm not concerned, no.
Okay, let's talk about that then. All right. What is the charge that he's here for?
Possession of child pornography.
What does that mean to you?
Well, I know what it sounds like, but for me,
Not what does it sound like? I'm asking, what does it mean to you?
To me.
Yes, sir.
For me, it means that he had pictures of young women. That's what I,
Define young women for me.
around his age, 16, 17, 18.
That is not child pornography. You're telling me that whenever you listen to things on the news and you hear about people being in possession of child pornography, every one of those times
No.
you've thought it's just young adults?
No, because
That's because that's not what it is, Matt.
I understand child being someone under the age of 18. That's the way I understand the child. And some are and some are not. Small children and some are not. Some are,
Your son, when he was interviewed, said, I have thousands of screenshots from middle school. They were underage, they were 5 to 10 years old. That's where your lawyer or his lawyer was getting the concept of 5 to 10 years old. He has he has an unaddressed concern for pictures of young children around the age of your daughter. Does it change anything? Now that I've told you that, and I'm just beginning to scrape the surface of what's here. Does it change any of your concerns? Are you concerned at all now that I've told you that?
with relation to my daughter, no. Because I just don't see anything
All
going on.
right, so I want to time out there for a moment.
Mhm.
What the lawyer for your son has pitched is that this court ought to consider giving him probation, which means sending him back home to where you live
Mhm.
with that child, and you still don't have concerns about him being around her.
No, because when we buy our house, both of my sons won't be living with us.
Ma'am, that's not enough.
I really don't. I mean, honestly, I don't, not with regards to my child. I even hearing this, because this is the first time that I'm hearing.
We're going to get into some more disturbing matters, ma'am,
Okay.
because you've been labeled as part of his support system. And I'm going to be fair with you and tell you that before you were called as a witness, I gave your son an opportunity to tell you what is on this phone before I do. And they chose not to do that. They just called you in here. So that means I'm going to be the one that gets to tell you what's on there.
Okay.
And it's not fun. So two different witnesses have detailed the fact that on his work phone, not personal phone, on his work phone, he had a folder labeled Mom, where he could access photos of you. Those photos were sexually inappropriate.
Stand by. I'm going to mute this part.
Thank
She
you.
doesn't deserve it.
Is that he's been doing, not addressing these things, and today he wants us to address all that for him. Right?
I suppose, yes.
No further questions.
Anything else?
Hearing the things that you've heard, can you ensure that he would have no unsupervised access to his sister, whether that was ordered or not?
Absolutely.
And you understand that if he is granted any form of probation, or even later if he's granted parole, that will likely be a condition.
I understand that, yes.
And are you still asking this court to allow him to go into treatment and those services be provided to him through community supervision?
Yes. Because I really would like to see him get some sort of therapy, treatment, education, whatever. I mean, anything that would benefit.
Nothing has prevented that from happening.
I wasn't aware of all the.
He's a grown up.
Exactly.
No, that's what.
I don't have any other questions for her. She's been
Who's
victimized
next?
enough.
Anybody next? Anybody?
No, sir.
All right.
No, sir.
Come on up, sir. You may be seated then.
You don't have to leave the quote, but you have to sit down.
It's gonna take 10.
The pad?
Yeah, charge it.
All right, before we finish this up, let me ask you, you were on probation or in 2 cases in Hardin County for illegal possession of a controlled substance. What was that?
It was ecstasy.
I'm sorry, ecstasy.
Ecstasy.
And then this you were on probation for burglary of a habitation out of Hardin County. Whose home was burglarized? Anybody you know?
It was my grandmother's.
You burglarized your grandmother's home. Is that right?
So,
And you were placed on 5 years to further unadjudicated probation on each case on January 26, 2023. That was revoked a year and a half later. Both of those, and then you were sentenced to 3 years in prison. For what reasons were those two probations revoked?
I kept failing my UAs whenever I would report for probation.
Okay, you were failing your UAs. What were you testing positive for?
Alcohol.
Okay. Do you remember being interviewed by the probation office for this case?
Yes, sir.
You remember when that occurred, when you had the interview with the probation office?
Yes, sir.
When?
It was about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Okay. So other than ecstasy, any other drug problems?
It was ecstasy, marijuana, and alcohol. Those were my
Okay. How long were you using marijuana?
up until I was on probation.
How long? I don't know what that means.
2022,
When did you start?
January of 20. Oh, I was 15. And
Okay.
2017.
9 years?
Yes, 9 years.
8 or 9 years?
Yes, sir.
Where were you getting your marijuana from?
Just whoever I was going to school with, friend, buddy.
And how frequent was that?
It's probably like once a week.
Weekly for 7 years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did your mom know about that?
Yes, sir. She did.
She knew you were using marijuana weekly, committing a crime every week, 52 weeks a year, times 6, 7, 300 times?
Yes, sir. That's why she kicked me out of the house.
When did she, after 6 years of finding out that?
Yes, sir.
And nobody, so y'all knew about problems here, but you didn't go treatment for that, right?
I just no.
You're
sir.
committing a crime each time you do that. That's 300 some odd crimes. Okay. You're free falling. This is just free falling in all kinds of ways, isn't it? Oh. If nothing further, earlier you pleaded guilty in this case voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood and appreciated the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this third-degree felony of illegal possession of child pornography. And again, these are crimes. This is a crime that is alleged to have been committed after you were placed on probation in two felony cases out of Hardin County. And you made promises when you were on probation that you would follow the rules. The first rule in all probation terms is do not commit other offenses. And so you are charged with committing this on or about November 4th, 2023, after you had been placed on probation in those two cases. Then your probation were revoked for what reasons again? It wasn't for this illegal possession of child pornography, was it?
He
It was
states
something else altogether.
failed UAs is what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, you were failing the drug tests, so they revoked you for that. Illegal possession of child pornography is just not a simplification of a crime. It's not simple. Every child image portrayed in any image is a victim of that. And we are talking about multiple victims of children. Plus, we know now you even go so far to victimize your own mother in this. Yeah, you need some help. But this is something that you should have received help for a long time ago. Not here, after you're placed on probation in another case. And you're still, on the one hand, trying to make amends for the two crimes you were placed on probation for in Hardin County, and then you're on the other side committing crime all the time, daily, for the child pornography. I don't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for these children. That's who I feel. What is the price of the innocence of a child when they are victimized in pornography, and then that pornography is possessed or traded or used? That child is a victim over and over and over again. What is the value of the loss of innocence of a child? You can't put a price on it, because I've got 2 children and 3 grandchildren. I couldn't imagine the harm. But I've done this for 20 years. I've been a lawyer for 40 years, and I've dealt with child pornography. It is maybe the worst, because children just, when they're victimized, they have a hard time ever becoming what we want in a normal life, because it haunts them forever. It's not something you can just shrug off and forget about. You used it for your prurient pleasures. That was terrible, sinful crime. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this 3rd-degree felony of illegal possession of child pornography. I am following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 7 years. This seems like that's not severe enough for what you have pulled in crimes. This is now your 3rd felony. It's a different type of felony, but this one is innumerable children and family have been victimized by you. You need to fix that. You can fix it on your own if you want. I don't have to force you into probation. You'll be paroled soon enough. The parole authorities hopefully will work with you. But at the end of the day, all of this is your choice making. You're going to decide what kind of life you want to live for the rest of your life. Is it going to be atonement and trying to do better? Or will it be continuing to fall back on your prurient interest, which victimizes others? This is a simple choice to make. Do the right thing. You can start anytime, but do it and stay on the path. But you have victims that you have to pay for. And that's what this is all about. That's what we call justice. That is all. What else do we have? John, did you have something?
Oh,
You said it for trial? Okay.
no. Be prepared for the trial.
Okay, I thought you had another case you were working on.
No.
Okay, literally